just, I suppose, last weekend, what are your reflections at the game that got away?
Yeah, obviously you've got to give credit to the Lions for sticking in the arm wrestle, but first and foremost, we probably need to look at ourselves, really. You know, we played some nice stuff in the first half, but it's just being consistent with that as well. And you know, the second half, we reflected pretty hard on that. And yeah, obviously we want to put it right this week, but it's going to be a tough challenge up against a good Glasgow side who are probably on the high after their good win against Cardiff last week.
What pleased you about last weekend and what disappointed you?
The result. Yeah, obviously, you know, we played some nice rugby in the first half. You know, you've seen a couple of tries that Keelan scored and whatnot. You know, we want to be a team that, you know, scores some good tries, not just from a driving maul. So that was a good part of our game. But you know, sort of, we talked about the little things being the big things, and the sort of the nuts and bolts of it, and you can't go away from that in rugby. You need to make sure that the basics are done well, and you know, drop balls, you know, missed kicks, handling errors. They all helped with the Lions getting in their result, and they only needed a sniff. And like you've seen with sort of the mishandling at the back of the scrum scrum half was straight on and they scored a try. So you know, we seem to work hard for our tries, but some of their tries, they come easier than what we had to. So it's just trying to cut out them sort of critical errors in our game.
What did you make of Glasgow last week? They were quite impressive.
Very impressive, yeah. You know, playing real high tempo rugby. It was sort of a good advert for the league, and they've got some key individuals that are on form as well. So we have to make sure that we're on our money come Saturday to try and get a result, because if we're not and we're making sort of silly errors in the game, they definitely got players, and as a squad they will punish us.
And what about personally, Dan? How did you feel last week? First game of the season, first game since that third test against South Africa in the summer.
Yeah, it was nice to get 50 minutes under my belt. To be honest with you, it was a pretty stop-start affair. So usually your first hit up, your lungs are screaming, but it was very stop-start, and that's well, like I said, in the first 50 minutes. So it's hard to get into a rhythm, but I dare say there'll be quite a few phases of play this weekend. So the lungs will definitely be tested, but. Yeah, you know, we've had a good break. The Ospreys looked after us with having plenty of time off, and you know, getting back into it and getting up to speed with how everyone else is playing, because there's a lot of competition for place, especially in the back row down here. So yeah, just fortunate to have the jersey this weekend.
Another season for you, Dan. What are the goals for the coming campaign?
Stay fit. No, to be honest with you, just take each week as it comes. I think I've said it before in interviews, I never look too far ahead, because, you know, looking too far ahead seems to have come up a cropper for me in the past. So just hopefully enjoy my rugby, keep my head down, work hard, challenge for places, and then we'll just see what happens. But I try not to look too far ahead, because you know, rugby's it's a attritional sport, and you know, you can be on top form in 1 week, and then the next week you can come a cropper. So yeah, just keep my head down and stay focused.
Good to see Justin Timberlake back in the mix.
Yeah, amazing. You know, watched the pre-season game when he played against Northampton. I texted him before the game, just said good luck. I said, like, don't worry about almost playing well, just get through the first game. And but I said, like, knowing you'll probably get man of the match sort of thing. And he showed it just in that first couple of touches in the game, what the man can do. So no, we missed him. Obviously, Jack Morgan came in last year and was a whirlwind for us, but to have someone like Timberlake back as our leader and captain as well, it is brilliant, and it puts more pressure on everyone else to perform in training, to try and get in almost in the other slots around in the back row, because he's a world-class player. But it's nice to see him back. Yeah, he's been sort of like almost not like a new signing, but like I said, it's been brilliant to have him back.
Just final one from me, Dan. You've seen a lot in Welsh rugby. Just sort of long-term and the sort of general impasse of Welsh rugby off the field at the moment. How concerned the players? Obviously, they're looking for contracts next season. Obviously, there's not much going on at the moment. As players, How concerning is that for them, and do they speak about it?
Yeah, I guess it's your livelihood at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, I think the world's all upside down at the minute, not just in rugby and in all walks of life, you know, energy crisis and everything. Everyone's finding it hard. So, yeah, obviously everyone talks about it, but as players, all we can do is focus on playing our best on Saturday and putting our best foot forward. That's all we can control. The powers to be control everything else, and it's above our pay grade. So, you know, we're just waiting on them to basically sort it out. And for us, we've got to just stay focused on the challenge in hand. And for us, for the boys that selected on the weekend, that's the game on the weekend. There's nothing else we can do.
So talk to strike, you're not going on the picket line quite yet, are you?
Well, not since the last 2 minutes when we've had lunch together.
All right, mate, good luck on the weekend. Thank you.
Cheers.
Dan, it's Mark. It is Mark Orders.
Hey, Mark, you okay?
Yeah, not too bad. You mentioned Glasgow played really well last week. Have you noticed over the past few years, you know, a significant uptick in standards in this league? How do you assess the standards of the league now?
I think it's more varied, and I don't mean that in the standards. It's just the style of play that we're coming up against with obviously the South African teams, and obviously we had, you know, the South African teams a couple of seasons ago, but you know, it's a different kettle of fish with the standard that we're playing, especially when we're going over there to play. It is a completely different environment to play in, but it's in the same time it's good as well, because you have to make sure that you're up to speed with how they play, because you know you come up against these teams, and if you're not well prepared, it's going to be some big score lines. So it's definitely pushing the standards. Obviously the logistics is something else to deal with in terms of obviously flying down there and getting fresh enough for the game and playing at altitude, which we've never done before. So that's something that we need to look at. Especially last season, it was a big eye-opener for a few of us playing at altitude for the first time. But no, it has been good. But yeah, every year it just seems to be ratcheting up. You know, Leinster have set the benchmark for years, but you've seen what happened when it came to the latter part of the league season, when they wasn't in the final. So it almost sent a bit of a shockwave to have two South African teams in the final. So. No, it's tough, but it's good to play in, because you almost, seasons going by, you sort of know what you're going to get from each team, but you know, you're going into these games, you're prepping for them, but it is, you have to make sure you're on the money, because otherwise it can be a tough watch and tough to play in.
Well, would you be reasonably optimistic a Wales side could make that top 8 perhaps this year?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, that's the plan. You know, you look at well, I can only speak for us. You look at our squad. We've got, you know, strength and depth and a real strong squad. But we've all got to make sure that we're working hard together for the same goal. And I know with seasons gone by, injuries have a massive part to play with squads who's been taken out and whatnot. But you know, we should be challenging for, you know, that's what you play for, to win things. It's not just to sort of to take part. You want to compete and win. But yeah, we probably in the last few seasons, you know, from Welsh regional point of view, we haven't performed to what we should be like. So we need to make sure that going forward we're pushing for that, and I'm sure every other region is saying the same thing.
And Dan, with yourself, you know, you must have been chuffed to earn a Wales recall last year. How much did you enjoy that tour?
Oh, it was brilliant. Yeah, to be honest with you, I think I said I didn't really expect to be called up. And then when Wayne gave me the call, said, like, am I good to go? You know, it's obviously something I'm not going to turn down. But you know, from day one, getting back in with the squad and everyone working hard for the same goal, and good bunch of people on the tour, you always find that how well you get off the field with each other, it almost translates to how well you play for each other. And you could see the fight that, you know, if teams were breaking us, everyone was, you know, busting back to make sure they didn't score. And I spoke to Dan Bigger after, and everyone that went on it just said what a good bunch of people it was on there. And obviously it was just a massive honour to wear the jersey again, and you know, have 3 more caps to my name. So and obviously going down there and getting a test win, obviously we were disappointed with how the last game went in terms of results, but to get the first test win in Welsh history down in South Africa, you know, it's something that you can't really take away from us. So no, I think everyone enjoyed it.
Now, and you mentioned competition, you know, at the Ospreys. It's also the case with Wales, isn't it? You know, with Ross coming back into the picture. I don't know if you've seen Chris Jones there as well for Exeter, as yourself saw. And Josh is injured, of course, but you know, fantastic competition for that 6th jersey this autumn as well.
Yeah, there always is. You know, I think it's a good headache for the coaches to have, and you know, obviously they'll be watching the games and picking on form. So yeah, like I said, you can't like almost look too far ahead. You just concentrate on the task in hand and the job in hand, and if you're playing well, then you're putting your hand up for selection. But if there's another guy that's playing better for you, then he's putting his hand up for selection. So all you can do is concentrate on yourself, and what'll be will be.
And just last question, really. You did mention the Ospreys competition. It is quite stern, isn't it? You know, with Will Griffiths and Ethan Roots and yourself all again in the mix, perhaps, you know, for that blindside role. In fact, Jack also played there earlier in the season. So yeah, how do you assess that?
Yeah, it's good. It's weird because it's such a blend of like sort of the old guard. And then obviously the young boys are obviously stepping up and putting a name, making a name for themselves. But there's one good thing I was speaking to Ethan Roots about it, is like we all want be part of those positions and get the jersey. But you know, at the end of trainings, we're all there to sort of help each other as well and try and get the best out of each other. So there's good camaraderie, within the squad, and you know, these boys have got a lot to learn in the game. You know, I always want to improve as a player, but in terms of my margins of improvement, it's probably a lot smaller compared to how far they can go, you know, with their improvement in the game. But we all keep chipping away at it, and that's all you can do.
Brilliant, Dan. Hope it goes well this weekend.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Sorry, just a couple more.
Oh, yeah.
If that's all right.
Sorry, yeah, no worries.
Just wondering where that second test in particular, you were talking about how much you enjoyed the Summit Tour, but just wondering where that second test in particular ranks for you in your career.
Probably actually playing probably top 2, and it reminded me of Grand Slam game in 2012, how I felt on the field, like things were just falling into place, as in timing wise, being in the positions to make the tackles, and the feeling after. I got substituted, but the euphoria of winning the test match and pure emotion. Like I played rugby for quite a long time now, and you know, there's massive highs like that was. But like I said, the last time I felt like that was 2012 in a Welsh jersey. So it shows you like there are massive highs, but the rest of it, there's massive lows as well. And I've been through sort of the grind of the mill of having a few bumps and bruises along the way. And you don't, obviously, not many people see what you have to go through to get back to them highs. So when you have it, you want to savor it. So yeah, it was a special tour.
And I was just thinking before you came on, how many people have come back as often as you have? This summer was maybe an unexpected sort of return. Now suddenly people are looking at the World Cup. But over your career, how often have you been written off at international level, do you reckon, through injuries?
I don't know, you tell me.
right from the very beginning onwards, people didn't expect you to come.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, obviously I had a tough injury to start my career. It probably sort of set me up, as in not like injury after injury, but it certainly gave me a grounding, and given me that desire to know what I want to try and achieve in my career. And every setback I've had, you know, I always sort of reflect back to then, and you know, it was a tough time then, and you know, sort of give me character to sort of push on. And so every time I've had a setback, I'm like, well, I've done it once, a real tough way. I definitely can do it again, and again and again. So yeah, you know, I'm not delusional in thinking I'm going to play forever, but as long as I still got the want and the sort of smile on my face to get up and go to work every day, then I'll carry on doing it until they tell me there's no contract left for me. But yeah, it's just I've enjoyed my career, even though it's been up and down. But you know, if I didn't enjoy it, I definitely would have hung up my boots a long time ago.